welcome back to another episode of Back in the Day Friday. I'm Nathan with Old Man Nevitt. How you doing, Old Man Nevitt?
Doing great. How about you?
Doing pretty good.
All right, we got a special mailbag edition today. What's our question today, Nathan?
The question is, Dear Mr. Old Man Nevitt, with the Cubs in the World Series, I keep hearing about the old Billy Goat curse. What is the Billy Goat curse? Ernie.
All right, Ernie. Well, Billy Goat curse it dates way back to 1945. So the last time the Cubs won the World Series, that goes back even farther, Nathan, all the way back to 1908. So that's 108 years ago. How old are you?
13.
13. So 108 years seems like a long time, right? It's hard to imagine. Think about it this way. If we waited another 108 years, if the Cubs have to wait another 108 years to win the World Series, they'll win the next World Series in 21-24. That's like Star Trek. All right, that's way out there. So it's been a really long time since the Cubs won the World Series. And many people believe that the reason for this is the Billy Goat curse, or the dreaded curse of the Billy Goat. So what happened is there's this guy named William Cyanis. Now, he owns this place called the Billy Goat Tavern. It's named after his goat. He actually has this pet goat. He takes the goat to the World Series. So they're sitting there, Game 4 of the World Series. He brings his goat in. Well, somebody decides that his goat stinks, that his goat smells too bad, and they kick him and his goat out of Wrigley Field. So, William, or Billy, as his friends call him, he's furious. He's just been kicked out of Wrigley Field during the World Series. And his goat has been insulted. They said his goat stinks. So he's kicked out of the World Series. His goat is insulted. And he allegedly says the Cubs will never win the World Series again. He even sent a telegram to Philip Wrigley. And he said the Cubs are going to lose this World Series and they're never going to win the World Series again. And that's how things stood. Not only did they never win the World Series again, they never even got back to the World Series until this year. All kinds of terrible things happened. In September 1969, Ron Santo's standing there on deck, and a black cat walks between Ron Santo and the Cubs dugout. The Cubs fall apart. They blow the lead. The Miracle Mets shoot past them, and they end up not going to the World Series. And for Cubs fans, they realize the curse has struck again. In 2003, the Cubs are in the playoffs. They're up 3-2. Scores 3-0. They're winning in the 8th inning. Pop fly hit down the left field line. Moises Alou runs over. He camps under. He's about to catch it. Guess what happens?
A fan reaches over and he catches
That's right. See, Nathan is a sports fan here, and that's recent enough that it's not so far back in the day that even young Nathan knows about it. Steve Bartman reaches out to try to catch the ball, reaches into the playing field. He hits the ball. Alou doesn't catch it. The Cubs blow a 3-0 lead, lose that game, lose the next game, and don't end up in the World Series. So over the years, there were actually several attempts to break the curse. Cyanis himself, he tried to take the curse off, didn't work. His nephew several times took a goat to Wrigley Field trying to break the curse, including in 1984 and 1989 when the Cubs actually made the playoffs. Never broke the curse. In 2003, the year of the Bartman incident, the year of the Bartman ball, the Cubs, some Cubs fans went down to Minute Maid Park for opening day, and they took a goat. Well, of course, they're not let in because you can't take your goat to the ball game anywhere anymore. And then they unfurl a scroll. They read from the scroll. They declare that they're ending the curse, and it looked like it was going to work until Bartman reaches out and touches the ball. Well, the very next year, that ball was electrocuted in Harry Carey's restaurant in Chicago. They electrocuted the Bartman ball, still didn't take it off. Finally, though, on the anniversary of Cyanis' death, the Cubs finally beat the Dodgers, make it to the World Series, and last night, in dramatic fashion, Game 7 extra innings, the Cubs win the World Series. So finally, the Billy Goat curse is gone. After 108 years, the curse of the Bambino got knocked off first back in 2004 by the Red Sox. Now the Billy Goat curse is gone. So that's one of the great things we had back in the day with baseball. The great legends and myths. It's what's made it great, and they're starting to fade away. But maybe some other curse will emerge, and some people in your generation too will have a curse to talk about. Thanks for joining us on a special mailbag edition of Back in the Day Friday. Send your letters in, and we'll see you next time. Back in the day.
Bye.